と仲間でいっぱいだ。
Panasonic, always new dreams, wonderful friends.
Typically, my aim is to share, discuss overlooked games, and help you discover hidden gems. So for this recap of the games that I played in May, naturally, I decided to focus on two little overlooked indie gems, Star Wars Jedi Survivor and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'll provide my thoughts and recommendations of these unheard of titles without diving into spoilers. So I'm going to give my take on these diamonds in the rough, but rest assured I'm going to steer clear from spoiling any of the surprises. Star Wars Jedi Survivor combines elements from various popular games to deliver the best Star Wars game I've ever played. It takes Uncharted's climbing and cinematic storytelling, blends it with the Souls series, healing system, bonfires, dodge roll, parry combat mechanics, and adds in Metroid-inspired world design where certain areas can only be accessed later with specific items or abilities. As Cal Kestis, baby boy Padawan now turned big boy Jedi, you embark on a quest to establish a sanctuary for yourself and fellow victims who are oppressed by the Empire. And by unraveling a centuries-old mystery, it could lead to the perfect refuge. I'd say the major standout aspect of this game is how well developed the characters are. Most of them are either genuinely endearing or compelling. Their lives are filled with difficult decisions, where the line between good and bad is pretty blurry, adding a layer of nuance to the storytelling that I truly appreciated.
Do you think I wanted Utapau to join the Empire? The compromises I made created a future for my people.
I've been to Utapau, Senator. They spit your name out like a curse.
At least they are alive. Why fight when you can't win?
The gameplay structure is similar to the first game, which offers a mix of different planets with linear layouts and missions. However, the addition in this game is a home-based planet that serves as more of an open world that elevates the sense of scale of this game. It allows you to explore and engage in numerous side missions and unlock new secrets and dungeons using abilities that you acquire on the other, more story-centric planets. The feeling of progression and discovery is immensely satisfying here, and the moments of getting a new ability and thinking back to the door that you couldn't get through before is really a motivating thing that happens quite a bit in this game. This sequel also expands hugely on the customization system from the first game, which pretty much only let you change the color of Cal's poncho. The developers learned that people really want to dress up Cal, and they provide a wide range of options to dress him up as weird or as cool as you want. Most of the collectibles now are gear and hairstyle, clothing, stuff that allows you to customize pretty much all of your stuff in the game. All these bits and bobs serve as rewards for completing most of the optional tasks throughout the game. Jedi Survivor also introduces shrines, which are reminiscent of Breath of the Wild. They challenge you with Jedi-focused puzzles and test your skills and powers. These challenge rooms offer a refreshing change of pace and add nice moments of focused puzzle problem solving. The challenge intensifies with two late-game bosses, which I'm not going to spoil here, but they act as combat skill checks that specifically target the player's mastery of the parry system. The timing windows for parrying in Jedi Survivor are rather forgiving, so die-hard Souls enthusiasts will find no issue here. But on the other hand, as somebody who relied on a bleed build and seldom used parries at all through my progress through Elden Ring, and since I was able to mash my way through the rest of Jedi Survivor, I had to adjust my playstyle to accommodate these bosses. Admittedly, it was frustrating in the heat of the moment, but the ultimate sense of accomplishment when defeating them was well worth the initial struggle. The one thing that did get under my skin with this game was the Uncharted-style climbing. It often felt like an unnecessary padding rather than engaging gameplay. It seems as though these climbing sequences serve the sole purpose of slowing down the player to allow the environment to load in ahead of you, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so that's just baseless armchair speculation on my part. On the other hand, the wall running and air dodge, swinging mechanics all feel super satisfying and add to the sense of speed and fluidity. Unfortunately, the climbing segments bring that same sense of flow into a frustrating crawl. Additionally, the environmental design can be a bit confusing at times, making it unclear about which surfaces are interactable And this lack of clarity led to a lot of moments of me aimlessly wandering and occasionally being frustrated. Visually, the game is stunning. Although I played it in performance mode, that sacrifices some of the visual splendor. At this point though, I have to mention the notorious performance of Jedi Survivor. As somebody who played it on PS5, it didn't really significantly hinder my enjoyment at all. However, I have heard the PC version has some much more significant game-breaking issues. On console though, what I did notice was some frame rate issues, but those never really make me personally clutch my pearls. There were also instances of screen tearing, rare crashes, and even one incident where I managed to slip through the world's geometry. Fortunately though, these technical glitches never resulted in any substantial loss of progress. While I would prefer that these issues didn't exist, I remain optimistic that future patches will address and rectify them. Nonetheless, it's worth noting that these sorts of performance-related issues never really bother me personally. If you're like me and can put up with a few bugs, I highly recommend Star Wars Jedi Survivor. With its memorable characters, compelling story, combination of gameplay elements from beloved titles, this game offers a great adventure filled with mystery, customization, and mobility. Despite some technical flaws and the occasional climbing frustrations, the overall experience is thoroughly enjoyable for both Star Wars fans or just for people looking for an exciting sci-fi journey. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the highly anticipated follow-up to the critically acclaimed Breath of the Wild, and it certainly lives up to the hype. The elevator pitch must have been something like, what if Breath of the Wild was better? What if you took the systems-based structure from Breath of the Wild and expanded upon it to such a degree that it made the freedom of Breath of the Wild seem constrictive? What if you could make Wooden Dick Man in Zelda? Following the triumph over Calamity Ganon, Link and Zelda embark on a new adventure under the castle. However, their exploration takes an unexpected turn when they accidentally revive the mummified body of Ganondorf, resulting in Zelda disappearing and the ascension of Hyrule Castle into the sky. Now it's up to Link to find Zelda and defeat the ultimate evil, the Demon King Ganondorf. While still maintaining a lighthearted atmosphere through interaction with the NPCs, the game takes a darker turn compared to Breath of the Wild. However, the initial impression I had after watching the first reveal trailers for this game, it's not quite as far as a departure as Majora's Mask was to Ocarina of Time, but it is a slightly darker game. The gameplay structure of Tears of the Kingdom closely resembles Breath of the Wild. It revolves around open systems that encourage problem solving through the use of a variety of tools and abilities. The new abilities are combining weapons and items, building contraptions using parts found in the environment, rewinding time on objects, and ascending through platforms and structures. As a Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts apologist, I'm an absolute pervert for this stuff, and these new systems offer a new level of freedom that was not present in the predecessor. And I'd say the developers here deserve a huge level of praise for the absurd level of trust that they have in the player. As someone who appreciates immersive sims, I found Tears of the Kingdom to be super engaging in its open-ended problem solving. The game allows you to find your own solutions to problems rather than relying on explicit scripting. This freedom is particularly evident in the construction of contraptions, where the players can express their creativity. However, it can be frustrating when you meticulously craft a construct only for parts of it to despawn mid-use because of the degradation mechanics. Those moments feel disproportionately short-lived for structures vital like the wings. While I feel shortchanged with that specific inconvenience, I know I have a pretty uncommon perspective on a lot of the other inconveniences that are posed by things like rain and breakable weapons. I think those spark opportunities for inventive problem solving. There are unexpected challenges that require you to switch up your playstyle and think outside of the box. In contrast to something like Elden Ring, where the problem solving relies on practice and mastery, Tears of the Kingdom encourages experimentation, ingenuity, and thinking on your feet. The shrines in Tears of the Kingdom are another step up from Breath of the Wild. My favorites are the ones that test the player by stripping them of all of their items. These shrines promote new and inventive thinking, preventing you from relying solely on your established solutions that you've been using over and over again. While the rewards for completing challenges, secrets, and shrines can sometimes be disappointing, especially if you build up a pretty good roster of good items, I feel like the game compensates for that stuff well with its fun mechanics and problem-solving opportunities. The joy of overcoming obstacles and finding inventive solutions outweighs the underwhelming rewards. It's a real, the journey is better than the destination sort of thing. However, it would have been more satisfying to receive more meaningful rewards for arduous tasks. The new temples in Tears of the Kingdom surpass the Divine Beasts in the previous game. The temples exhibit better and more specific theming, and the puzzles feel more closely tied to the plot. Each of these major story quests conclude with a unique boss fight that utilizes the abilities gained throughout the quest, making the bosses a major improvement over the previous game's Blight Ganons. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a must-play game. It successfully builds on the strengths of its predecessor, and its gameplay structure encourages freedom and experimentation, while the somber yet lighthearted tone adds emotional depth and weight to the typical light Zelda story. Despite some frustrations with the controls and underwhelming rewards, inventive problem solving, improved temples, the engaging boss fights, they all make for an exceptional experience. Tears of the Kingdom solidifies its position as a must-play title for fans of the franchise and for newcomers alike. I'd say the one question that this game leaves you with is, how did they pull this off on Switch hardware? I hope one of these hidden gems caught your attention, and if it did, please let me know in the comments. If you notice the view count to this is relatively low, giving this video a like would greatly support me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.